In the last video, we built a very simple message producer and consumer using Spring Framework and Kafka, and those are again non-practical situation, proof of concept type of solution. In a realistic scenario, things are going to be a little bit more complicated. So let's take a situation where we have multiple topics. Let's say we have two topics, and on both the topics we have two partitions, and we are going to publish, we are going to consume messages using two different consumer groups. So let's see how something like that can be implemented using Kafka. First, let's go into our application properties file, and we define some properties there. So we had already defined these Bootstrap servers and a consumer group ID. So let's assume both the, for a, let's say we have two topics. So topic 1 Bootstrap server is this, topic 1 consumer group ID 1 is this, and then we will have another consumer group for this, that is 2, and similarly we have same things for topic 2. So now with this, the very first thing that we need to do is write some configurations for our producers. So as said, we will have two producers, one for topic 1, one for topic 2. So let's go to our configurations package and define the first class, which is now this is a Spring component, and here we are going to have those properties that we had just defined. So let's copy them so that we don't have to type the whole thing and we don't make a mistake. So the first is the Bootstrap server, and this we can define as private string Bootstrap server. Similarly, let's define the other two. And this is consumer group 1. We actually don't need consumer groups in producer, so we will move them to the consumer config, because I have cut and pasted here. I am just going to define it, and finally we will move it out, because producers are not at all concerned with consumer groups. Consumer group is a consumer only phenomena which defines in what order the messages need to be consumed. So let's Now let's define a producer factory. Now producer factory has a key value pair. So let's say we can probably have let's assume we are going to have a UUID as its key, and let's say we have a message class that will be its value. Now we have to define bunch of properties. First property that we need to define is producer config, and first is the Bootstrap server config, and that we can provide the Bootstrap server that we just defined. Now next thing that we need to define is what is the serializer that we want to use for keys, and right now we can just use a string serializer for keys. The next we want to define is what will be the value serializer, and here we could define let's see if there is a JSON serializer available. So there is a string serializer, byte array serializer, float serializer, long serializer. There is a UUID serializer. Okay, so then let's stick to string serializer. Now let's see what other values are defined within producer config. There is a Bootstrap, client DNS, metadata max age, batch size, request timeout, client ID, and there are lots of config parameters that are available. So for now I think this is enough. We can define so this is our producer factory. Now we actually define a Kafka template, and for each topic we will define a Kafka template, and so this is a variable that we will define. So this is our first producer config. Let's define this variable in this class. Let's call it first topic. Similarly, we will need the second topic as well. So let's define it already. So now this is our first producer config. Now similarly we need the second producer config, so we can just refactor it. And here the variables we will have to change, and the properties we have to change. So let's call it topic 2, and this will become second topic name. So this is our second producer config. Now we have to define the consumer config. So let's go back again. Now we will just make a copy of these these two variables which I said, the consumer groups, because they are required by the consumer config. So let's go to configuration again and say new. And again we have to define we make it a component. First we define a now we need the Bootstrap server config as well, so we will just make a copy from the producer, the same variable that we need. Now we also need so here we are, because we are going to have two separate consumer groups, we will pass the consumer group ID as an argument and we will handle that. So configuration properties, dot put config group id group id config comma consumer group id, and then we have configuration properties. Now we need two other serializers. So in this case we will need deserializer. So again, because we had serialized using string serializer, we will use the same class to deserialize it. It should be string deserializer, and similarly we need a value. Now here the standard deserializer will not work, because if it is an object and let us say we want to spit out object as a JSON, we would need a custom deserializer. So let's worry about how we do that, because otherwise we won't be able to deserialize. So let's define our let's define a deserializer for our class that we just defined. So let's go to the class first. Let's look at our message class, which is within Pojo tutorial message. Let's say we add couple of more things in it. Private string. Let's say we also have topic in it, and then let's say we also have a key in it. Now we want to write serializer, deserializers. So let's create a new package. And within serializer package, let's define a serializer which is called topic message serializer. Now this class has to implement and we choose this Kafka serializer. Okay, this should be renamed tutorial message. Now this class needs to implement some methods. It basically needs to implement serialize method. So let's assume what we are going to do is we just send a JSON. So we use JSON. And now what we are really going to do is So let's say we set the topic here as this is topic, and then we say json dot to json tutorial message dot get bytes, and this will return as a byte array, which is what we want. So this is our very simple serializer where we get an object and we convert it into a byte array, and we need the reverse of it where we will have a deserializer, and let's say what we want is same message deserializer, same thing we have to do, implements deserializer from Kafka, and this should take a tutorial message, and then we see what method we need to implement. I think this is the method that we are going to implement. So this will get a byte array. So from byte array we create a string json equal to, first let's see whether json takes byte array, json equal to new json to object from json. Okay, this guy requires a string, so we will give it string dot new string bytes and comma tutorial message dot class. So as part of this we will get tutorial message, and we will set the string here, which we will set the topic here which we are getting, and then we can return this. So this is our deserializer. Similarly, so now let's go back to our producers and consumers. So first we look at this one. So first thing I think we should have, because key we have defined as UUID, so we will use UUID serializer, and for class we will have tutorial message serializer dot class. So let's copy these two. We go to first consumer, and here we will define this, and then we go to second topic and we update this. Now let's go back to first consumer. So now we return new default Kafka consumer factory config properties. So we got this. Now we define one bean name equal to, let's say this is first topic and this is the first consumer group. First topic, first group, first topic, first group, container factory, that is the bean name, and here we will have UUID comma tutorial message, and let's call it first topic, first group, consumer factory, and we return so we first defined a concurrent Kafka listener container factory, UID comma tutorial message, factory equal to new factory, factory dot set consumer factory, and now we pass consumer factory with a consumer group ID 1. So this is the bean for the first group, first consumer group, and this is for the second consumer group, and now we can return the factory from here. Okay, so this name has to be first topic. You can just say second group, and this also we can just say first group. So this is our okay, we still have a somewhere, oh there is a return missing. So this is our first consumer config. Now we can just make a copy of this class and for second for the second topic and here the properties we have to change. This will become second topic, second topic first group, and second topic second group. So this is our consumer factory. Now because we want to generate these things from an endpoint, let's define an enum that would essentially help us provide the topic names. Right now we have defined topic names within actually it's okay, we don't need to do that. So now just let's look at our endpoint. Before we look at the endpoint, let's define the listener for it. Actually we will just modify the listener that we had defined earlier. So let's exit this. Where are our listeners? So we go to this listener again and we modify it to take care of new things. So now basically we have the Kafka listener annotation. We change the top for first topic. This is the first topic, and now we say container factory is first topic, first group. Let me just get that name. First topic consumer config, and we go to our listener. So this is the first listener. Now I am doing all of them in one particular class. You can have them in multiple classes, so we don't have to worry about it. Payload, tutorial message, and we can put a log message here. So we have topic, so we are printing the topic and message here. So this is the first topic, first group, because the listener bean defines the consumer group, the topics defines the topics. So similarly now now let's see here, we have another one where topic is same, but this will become second, and second group, topic is this. Yeah. Now we make a copy of both of these again and change it to second topic, and this name should become second, second topic, this also becomes second. Now let's call them first topic, first group, first topic, second group, this is second topic, first group. These are just Java method names that need to be different, they have no meaning otherwise. We have to have different names. So here is our listener defined. Now let's go to our endpoint And so very first thing that we are going to do is we will pass here we are passing the topic name, and now we are checking within our method, and let's have, we will have all the so for each of the topics we will have templates. So let's qualify it. So let's look at our producer config. What is the name that we have given? Right now we have just given the topic name, so let's make it first topic template name and create a constant. Let's call it templates. Similarly, we will have a second topic template, and let's go back. Okay, so this will take care of it, the issue within the endpoint. So this is fine. Now we go to second topic, producer config, and here we make it second topic template name, and now we go to endpoint. So qualifier this Kafka template, first topic template, and similarly we will have a second topic template, so now we have both the templates. Now let's look at what topic came in within the message. So if message dot, so we also will have a path param at path variable topic. So now we check Oh, this has to be string topic. I forgot the type. If topic dot equals constants dot tutorial first topic name, then we know we have to use the first topic template. Then we have to use second, else we need to throw some exception, new, let's see which is a good exception that we can throw. We can just say bad request exception. So let's define a bad request exception of our own, which takes a string and basically, and there we say percentage is an invalid topic type. So before we define this, let's so Kafka templates requires a topic, key and value. There is one variant of send that needs it. So let me just check. Yeah, so here we will say topic, comma, uuid dot random uuid, comma message. We are just generating a random uuid, of course. In another scenario we'll probably store it somewhere, but that's fine for now. Now we just need to define this exception, and we need to see the type of Kafka template. So let's first check that. Yeah, type is alright. So now let's go back to our exception package. we'll take one of these and refactor it. Refactor, copy. So we change to bad request, and then rather than ID we pass a string. So I think that's it. So let's build it. So we got some error. This has to be consumer config. Ad serializer, consumer config, value deserializer. So let's go to the other one also. This is the second one, so let's go to the first one. Okay, let's run it again. Okay, so we ran it again. Okay, so now both partitions are assigned. Now let's run Postman. So we send it to Kafka first topic, let the body remain same, we just change it to message new and we send it. Okay, we got it. Now if you see here, so the message is received by the first group and message is received by the second group. I think there is a problem in the log message, we'll go and fix it. But basically all consumer groups will receive all the messages. So let's just fix this. So we have a syntax here. Yeah, we forgot to do string dot format here. Yeah, so now let's run it again. Let's go to Postman. And we send another message. So this message also went. Now if you look at the log, if you see this, both the topic, both the groups got the message. Same thing if we do for example, let's do the same thing for the second topic. S has to be capital. So now if you see, okay, there will be an exception that we just came because of that error. Here if you see, we again got second topic messages, and our console consumer should also have received first topic messages. So let's check that out. See here, these are both the messages that we got. So I think we'll stop this video here. Now we have seen multiple consumers, multiple producers. One more very important thing that is, and multiple consumer groups. One more thing that is very important that we need to cover in this is basically partitions, and we will cover that in the next video. If you have liked this video, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so that you will be notified when the new videos are published, and share it with your friends. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Peace.